been a bit of a struggle lately. So I just wanted to jump on here and give you guys like an update. Thank you guys for stopping by for another video. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Colt Caparoon, and I appreciate each and every one of you being here very much. So I just wanted to do like a little life update. It's been almost 2 weeks since I've uploaded anything, and a lot has happened over the past 3 weeks, which is the last time I actually filmed anything. So firstly, I haven't taken on basically any new musical projects in about 3 months, and that is because I've been trying to clear the calendar for this Atmos install. So I just about have the calendar cleared, and we're getting close to the end, which is fine. That was the goal. Except I cannot, for the life of me, get all of the gear to do this Atmos install. Like every single thing is on back order. It's weird that like supply chain issues still left over from COVID are still affecting so many people, and that in tandem with so many people putting Atmos rigs in is like, it's putting a huge strain on all these companies that build all the gear and all the furniture. And I'm pretty much down to an empty calendar and still don't have all the gear ready to get started. And then I finally got COVID. Somehow I made it, 3.5 years into this and did not get COVID yet. And this was definitely COVID. I didn't take a test while I was actually sick, but it was not fun. I made it through, but it wasn't fun. Crazy fever, crazy aches, coughing, and turned into bronchitis, which I'm still dealing with like 3.5 weeks later. I'm still just getting wrecked with bronchitis. Luckily, I healed up fast enough to go to Gearfest, which is a whole thing that I want to talk about at Sweetwater. Took a negative COVID test before I went. It was negative. This was right at the beginning of the bronchitis. I got diagnosed with bronchitis the day before I left. Side note, I thought bronchitis was something that you could give to people or that was catchable. It's just the irritation of your airways. That's all it is. It's not contagious, or it's not even actually an illness. You'd think I would have known that by now at the ripe old age of 40. And another side note, I read some studies early on in COVID that was like a huge percentage of people that got hospitalized and passed from COVID were heavily deficient in vitamin D. So I've been on a pretty intense vitamin D regimen since the beginning of COVID, and I stopped taking it 3 months ago, 2 months ago. I don't know. Maybe had something to do with me finally catching it. So in the midst of planning this studio makeover and getting COVID finally, I know it was COVID because I can't taste or smell anything right now. Apparently it can happen way later because I'm negative, but I don't. I was eating a granola bar the other day, a chocolate covered granola bar, and it tasted like styrofoam. So that's how I know it was COVID. So in the midst of all of this, my grandma started not doing well. Her house went into foreclosure because she thought she had paid it off and she had not. And so I've been dealing with a whole bunch of that stuff, the legalities behind all of that. And then it was time for Gearfest, and I was still heavily dealing with bronchitis. And there's quite a few videos coming from Gearfest, and I'm really pumped about them. So Gearfest is like a mini NAMM at Sweetwater, and it's just for all of us content creators. So tons of YouTubers and some TikTokers were out there. And unfortunately, I was feeling crummy enough that I didn't really film any like behind the scenes vlog stuff. It was mostly just the big videos that are coming. But spent time with Rhett Scholl and Robert Baker and Corey Congilio and Andrew Masters and Recording Studio Loser, my buddy Jeremy. And it was really nice to see all of them. Unfortunately, I was heavily medicated the entire time. Like, just down in Dayquil, and they put me on steroids for my bronchitis, and they gave me an inhaler. And I was taking everything just to get through the event and be able to talk on camera the little bit that I actually needed to. But Gearfest was awesome, and as usual at Sweetwater. So this video is sponsored by Sweetwater. Don't forget to hit the links down below to check out everything that I use. And if you ever need any piece of gear ever, you can hop on any one of my videos, click on any one of the links, and purchase anything you need, and it really helps support this channel. So thank you, Sweetwater, for sponsoring this video, and thank you for taking me out to Gearfest, which I had a great time. And again, videos coming on that, and I'm really excited about that. There's some really cool stuff. Unfortunately, in the midst of trying to keep myself medicated enough to get through it, I came back and ended up having a hypertensive crisis just 2 days after I returned. And a hypertensive crisis, for you, those of you that don't know, is basically when your blood pressure spikes and you're about to have a stroke. And this is the second one that I've had in my adult life. There was a weird transparent ring that looked like it was just rolling over on itself that was floating around in my vision. And I was like, uh-oh, that doesn't look good. And I have a blood pressure machine here because of the last time, about a year and a half ago, I had one of these. And my blood pressure was almost 180 over 140. And at that point, I took the double amount of my blood pressure medicine that I've been on since the last one. Took an aspirin just in case, and just tried to relax. I was in the middle of a session. Had a client here when this happened. A big thanks to Clayton Shea for hanging out with me while my wife was on her way home. So my wife gets home, and my blood pressure just wasn't going down. She took me to the ER. They gave me some additional stuff. We talked about a lot of different things, and apparently everything that I was taking, the Mucinex, the inhaler, the steroids, the Dayquil, like every single thing that I was taking could raise blood pressure on their own. And I was taking all of them at the same time. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, I was taking over the recommended dose, which I do not recommend, and landed me in the hospital. So that was 4 or 5 days ago now. At the same time that was happening, my grandma wound up in a nursing home on hospice care because she was unresponsive and wasn't doing good. So the very next day after that hypertensive crisis, I drove to Illinois to help start cleaning her house out and trying to get rid of everything, because I'm not going to go on a tangent about this, but the way that our government works with assisted living for the elderly is absolutely infuriating to me, and something has to change. So I went up and helped get the house kind of organized and ready for a sale, and she finally passed a few days later. And this past week has been a real struggle. The past 3 weeks have not been awesome. So what I'm focusing on now is how to find new balance moving forward. I am a hustler. I always have been. I am a workaholic. I love working hard. I love competing with myself for the quality and the quantity of work that I can get done. I'm not really competing with anybody else, but I compete with myself daily. And it's time to. I got to start making some changes. I got to start figuring out how to find some balance. It's something that I've been historically awful at, and it's hard because balance isn't a part of the conversation usually when you're talking about someone's career trajectory. Like I don't get where I currently am by living an extremely balanced life. I get here by working way too hard, way too many hours, putting way too much pressure on myself. And I think one of the things that I'm starting to learn is that the hustle has to come in waves. It's not sustainable to just live like that at all times. And the older you get, the less sustainable it is. It is sustainable. Like when I was in my mid-20s, it's perfectly sustainable. And now that I'm going to be 40 here in a couple months, it's not really sustainable anymore. And so right now I'm just kind of taking a look at my life and my career and my family and my health and my level of exercise and my diet and everything, and really trying to figure out the best way to find balance with all of it. So I try to always position these videos in like how can you get benefit from this, and I think the only thing that I could say is try to find balance. Try to recognize where you are in your life and in your career and how much you can put in, because you do have to put a lot in to get here, but it's not worth it if it's risking your health. So I hope you guys can find that balance. I think it's important to pay attention to that balance and take your vitamin D. That was not a super fun video, and I'm sorry for that. I just wanted to give you guys an update of what's been going on, why I've kind of been MIA, and yeah. we're coming back bigger and stronger with the next one. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you for being here. Don't forget to hit the links in the description anytime you need anything. They're right down below the like button. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.